Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right, nothing really compelling in the news today that I'm seeing anyways. I'm sure there's lots of compelling things, but nothing I'm seeing in the headlines that I want to read on. So when in doubt, let's turn to the elections. Since I only have 2 more weeks or less than 2 weeks to deal with that. I've been getting a lot of text messages. I don't know how my phone number ended up on the Republican calling list, but there you go. A lot of desperate text messages from the Trump campaign. This is a little bit of a follow-up to my reading yesterday about the rumors of Trump assaulting a minor at a fundraising event. I thought, and I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is different than the model who was molested by him in 1993, who's now like 57 years old now, 58 years old, something like that. The stories came out within a day of each other, but they were 2 different events. Okay, and to the point where right-wing media folks like on TikTok and other podcasts are out there saying, don't believe any videos that you see of Trump molesting a child or raping a girl or doing something like that. Now, if he hadn't done something, they wouldn't be saying anything. So the fact that they feel the need to get ahead of it probably tells you there's something out there. But that's not what this video is going to be about. This one's just going to be about simply, let's look at the energy of the Trump campaign. We are like 10 days or so. I'm recording this Friday night, October 25th, at about a little before 8 p.m. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Trump campaign and how they are feeling with less than 2 weeks to go before the election. Let's look at their energy and see what's going on with it. Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Foundation of the reading, the 8 of Swords. Well, we know you're stuck with what you're stuck with at this point. You know, Trump does things to himself, and you know there's no getting around what they've got. They've got what they got. This is not a really positive card. Cross with the Page of Cups, the lunacy, he's going on again. He's going on all the bro podcasts that resonate with young, less educated men, white men. He's out there talking about Hannibal Lecter and crazy stuff. People, doubling down on people eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio. This is what they've got. This is what they've got to work with, and I think that's the general vibe. They don't have a lot to work with. And they're running out of money. They're running out of support. They see the writing on the wall. This is so different than what the corporate media is selling. The corporate media doesn't want to sell you this because then you won't pay attention. For her part, Kamala Harris says nothing because she wants you to feel like this isn't in the bag so that you get out and vote. In the past, you get the Ace of Pentacles. Everything Donald Trump did worked. Until it didn't. That inflection point happened in July of 2024. Right around the time, basically, he apexed, right around the Pew Pew incident. The minute Kamala Harris, Joe Biden announced that he was no longer running, and Kamala Harris was who he recommended, that gold coin turned into fool's gold. And now the campaign is at a crossroads. This could also be all the fundraising that Trump's done and all the fundraising he's taken from the Republican Party. But we're asking about the Trump camp. They don't care about the Republican Party. They only care about dear leader. So now they're at the crossroads as to what to do. They've got a plan in place. Whether he wins or loses, they've got a plan in place, and it's always to deny the election was legitimate. That's just what the plan is. But that's the only plan. They could have other things, the fake electors and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't know. Like, the fake electors isn't going to work anymore. There's too many people that are, going to trial that have pled to this, that's not going to work anymore. Plus, they're not in charge of the government. Biden is, not them. The lesson to be learned is the heartbreak in the betrayal, the lies, the cheating, the stealing, the falsehoods, the gaslighting. The whole Trump camp is an illusion. It's built on a lie, wrapped in mystery, surrounded by an enigma. It's just there's nothing legitimate about it, and I don't think they see a way forward with this. There's no path to their victory right now. The outcome is the Lover's card. They have to depend on Trump supporters to get them through. Part of the plan is always voter suppression. MAGA will show up because they're voting for dear leader, but not, to me this is more, it's like they've lost the narrative, that people aren't in love with Donald Trump anymore. The true believers are, but it's not the true believer. And he needs, don't get me wrong, he needs the true believers to to get out and vote, to show up and vote. He needs all of them. But that's not enough. And with the enthusiasm that we're seeing with early voting, he needs to reach out to more people, and Trump is not a uniter. He's a divider. He doesn't know how to unite people. That's not in his DNA. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. The other thing I will throw out there, and I don't hear many or any media sources talking about it, when they say, there's early voting, I say 1 million early votes came out, and, 550 million were for Democrats and 450 million were for, or 450,000, 550,000 and 450,000, 550 for the Democrats, 450 for the Republicans. The assumption is that the vast majority, effectively all Democrats are voting for Harris, and the vast majority, if not all, Republicans are voting for Trump. But the latter may not be the case. And again, I bring you to the Nikki Haley Republicans. They may be voting for Harris, but they're going to show up under the Republican tally. And if you're talking about 5% or 10% of the Republican votes, it could be as much as 20, but let's say it's 10% of the Republican early votes are Harris supporter, Republican voters are Harris supporters. That moves that 450 down to 400,000, and it moves that 550 almost to 600,000. There's some big numbers in there with some of those percentages. So, again, I don't hear the media talking about it. I don't think they want to talk about it. They can't really talk about it because how do you know? You don't know who they voted for. You just know their party affiliation. Let's look at the energy around the Nikki Haley voters. There was a hilarious TikTok. The Queen of Swords just popped up. A hilarious TikTok I was watching, a skit a gay scientist put together where he was like coming out there. It's like, it says undecided voters in 2024. I don't know what to eat for breakfast. This bowl of rice cereal or this entire gallon of bleach. Ugh. Well, I don't like rice cereal. It's got bananas on it. But but I also don't want to drink a whole gallon of bleach. That's kind of like, with Kamala Harris, you're splitting hairs because maybe she says some messaging you like and some messaging you don't like. What's the alternative? Drinking a gallon of bleach. How is this even a choice? I found it really humorous. Maybe I'll put it up on the community page. Anyways, let's look at independent voters and the Haley-esque Republicans, the ones that really don't like Donald Trump. What's kind of like their vibe? How are they vibing right now? Queen of Cups. You know what? They're keeping their mouths shut. They're not talking to anybody. They're just going to go do what they're going to do. Low key. And crossed by the Nine of Wands because they don't want to be harassed by anybody. They don't want to be harassed by their neighbors, by their family members, or stuff like that. But I think also there's like this grim determination. You can almost see it in the look on her face. There's a bit of a grim determination there that they don't want to support her, or they don't want to support Trump. It's like we've been through that. Don't want to do that again. You know, they're a little bit traumatized. Underneath it all is the Knight of Swords. I think they would really like it if Nikki Haley came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. I don't think Nikki Haley will do that because she's trying to run in 2028. But this group of voters could also be the knight in shining armor too if they come out and they vote for Kamala Harris. Makes a huge difference in the polls. In the past, you got the Knight of Cups. You know, who's reaching out to these folks? And the Harris camp has reached out to these folks. Donald Trump has never reached out to him. Nikki Haley specifically asked Donald Trump to reach out to her voters, and he specifically did not do it because he doesn't need a woman to tell him what to do, amongst other things, I'm sure. Plus, Nikki Haley voters should just vote for him because that's the way life should be. He didn't do that, though. So, current situation is Nikki Haley voters, they're going to probably cross party lines. They're not going to vote for the party. They're going to vote for the candidate, or maybe more importantly, they're going to vote against a candidate. There's that Queen of Swords that came up. Overarching energy is like, this is what you get. We can't do this. Basically, you might say these are the sensible Republicans. It's like, look, these are the ones that understand if you want something for breakfast and it's rice flakes with bananas on it, even though you don't like bananas, it's infinitely better than a gallon of bleach. Just saying. The lesson to be learned is the Hillbilly Brawl card, the Five of Wands. There's just going to be so much energy. So the argy-bargy, the energy is building up in this election. All the while they're trying to keep things calm. Maybe it could even be some are getting enthusiastic. But honestly, to them, they just want peace and quiet. You know what this is? They remember January 6th. They remember the riots. They remember the insurrection. They know who's caused for the insurrection. And they're going to hold that person to account. They do not want to go through that again. So they're going to go out and vote. They're going to go out and vote. They're going to do something different this time. And in some ways, they might be the difference in more than one swing state. Where the swing states, if you were just looking for straight Republican votes, it could have been close. But you throw a bunch of independents and a lot of Republicans in there, makes a difference. And that could very well be one of the reasons why if Florida were to turn blue, it would be something like that. Between the independents and the Republicans who do not want Donald Trump, you could lose Florida and end this all. Okay, might as well last look at the Harris campaign. How's the Harris campaign looking, feeling as we are less than 2 weeks away from this election? Let's see. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're 11 days away. How's the Harris campaign feeling? Sorry, it's been a long week. Today was a lighter day. Made lighter because I've been working so late the last several nights. But come on down, let's see what we got. Entertainment purpose only again. Harris campaign. How are they feeling at this point? The Hermit. Path forwards. Illuminating the way, leading the way. Crossed with the Ten of Coins. It's interesting. A lot of the major news media are not endorsing a presidential candidate, which I find interesting. Jeff Bezos is Wall Street Journal, was it Wall Street Journals or no, the Washington Post is not endorsing a candidate. Bezos didn't want to endorse one. The Los Angeles Times isn't endorsing a candidate. It's almost like these really wealthy people that own these things don't want to piss off Donald Trump, and they're not real happy with Kamala Harris if she raises taxes on them, would be my guess. It's unusual. Definitely disappointing. I think the Harris campaign, again, looking at this big money, donors coming in, stuff like that, there's some disappointment here. Maybe they're not reaching all the people they think they should be reaching. I still think this has to do with like the newspapers, the media. I think there's some real disappointment with the media and the coverage going on there. In the past 4 months, when she came out, she was the media darling. She could not lose the news cycle. Drove Trump absolutely bananas because, again, I was telling you, Trump he hit the apex. He hit his zenith right around the Pew Pew incident. The minute Kamala Harris came on the scene, it was 24/7 coverage of Kamala Harris. Donald Trump could not get the news cycle back. Current situation is the Four Swords with the Harris camp. They're playing it cool. They're thinking, they're strategizing. They've got their plans. They know where they want to go with things. They're going to lead the way. And it could just be that how the media is not covering Trump and his health, Trump's health, fairly. Does the guy literally have to stroke out on a podium for the media to finally cover it and acknowledge it? No, it's that kind of thing. They normalize Trump behavior. Overarching energy is the Nine of Swords. How are they feeling? There's some anxiety here. I think it's just people sweating the details. I'm not so worried about that. I think they're sweating the details on things. And it can also be post-election. The post-election is not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. There's going to be violence post-election, regardless of who wins. They have a decision to make too. Maybe that's why they're going calm, is that they're trying to calm nerves or calm people's nerves. Actually, that might be it. There's a lot of anxiety that people have around this election. And I think the Harris campaign's not trying to aggravate that anxiety. People have choices. And the outcome is the Death card, bringing an end to the king. The king is dead, long live the king. A new chapter starts. I don't believe that's going to be Joe Biden, although it will be the end of the Biden administration. But I do believe it's the end of Donald Trump. I think they know that they've got the end of Donald Trump is here. And they might even already be looking as to what are they going to do next once Kamala gets in, because now is the media going to turn on her, and how is she going to handle a hostile media? But I have a sneaking suspicion that the media will have will be having their fill of Donald Trump court cases to keep them busy. So we shall see. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I do hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.